One of the most common questions we ask at School of Cards is, what are your goals? What are your goals? What are your timelines? What do you want to accomplish with this game? And the reason why we ask that is we try to take a more holistic approach towards poker education. I fundamentally believe that a lot of players go down the wrong path when it comes to studying and working on their games because their goal isn't in alignment or isn't in alignment with what they are trying to accomplish. There's a big difference between a player who only has 5 hours a month to study and to focus on building mechanics and getting better at this game versus a player who has 30 or 40 hours and wants to play professionally within the next year or two. Your goals dictate your study, the amount of attention and detail that goes into that study, and your path. And we ask that question a lot so we can give people the right path. Sometimes players will say, listen, I want to play online, and we send them elsewhere. So it's really important to understand that why you're playing this game and what your goals are going to dictate how you're going to move forward. And because I asked this question so many damn times, it's really that I have thousands and thousands of responses of what are your goals? What do you want to accomplish in this game? And I have read so many that I just want to go over the 5 big mistakes that players make when they set goals in poker, okay? So the first one is players are often way too specific. Okay, the example is like, I want to, make $5,000 this month at poker. It's a bad goal from the get-go, but it's really important to use ranges when it comes to goal setting in poker. Like, you don't just want to say, oh, my goal is to beat the game for 10 big blinds per hour in a live game. Like, you can use ranges. You can say 8 to 12. You can say, I want to play between 50 to 70 hours per month. I think that players pick a very specific number and then they feel guilty when they don't hit that number. The game is based on a foundation of variance. For a lot of you recreational players, you don't have a rigid schedule of like, I'm going to play Monday to Friday from 6 p.m. to 12 p.m. And players tend to get in this bad habit loop of setting goals, not achieving them, and then just forgetting about this whole process. The reality is, if you use ranges, you're way more likely to calibrate because you'll be able to see where you fall in that range. And I think it's absolutely critical. The second thing is, players are just not in reality. It's sometimes like depressing to actually see. Like, it sounds funny sometimes. Like, somebody will post something, hey man, I want to win. I want to play I want to make $150,000 this year playing poker, and it's like they're nowhere remotely near the mechanical skill set that is required to do that. They probably don't even have game access to hit that amount of money. I mean, players make these goals of like, I want to beat 510, and if they look at their landscape of their availability, there actually isn't a 510 game that they can actually play. So it's very difficult to beat that. They'd have to move. And really, the best thing here is to use the risk assessment sort of statement that past behavior is the best predictor of future behavior. Meaning, if you're not a profitable player right now and you've never made money playing poker, and you look at all your finances and you're like, wow, I'm stuck $5,000 over the course of 5 years. You don't want to set your goal for the end of the year to be making 100K. Unless you're going to dedicate like nonstop time and your grandmother gives you another 100K bankroll or something like that. Like, it's just not grounded in reality. Your past is the best predictor of your future. Of course, things like studying, working on your game, improving your ability to apply mechanics, having people around you, that's all going to make the path better, but you need to be grounded in reality. Most players are just simply, they're not. They just throw out these numbers, and it's ridiculous. It's like saying, what do you want to do, Blake? Oh, I want to play in the NBA next year. Let's do it. Let's play in the NBA near. I want to do that. It's like, what the hell? I'm a 5'9", 34-year-old guy. It's just not going to happen. It's not grounded in reality. Now, third, players focus on volume or studying and don't set up systems for both. I see this all the time. So like, players will say, usually people fall into one of two categories. People are volume heavy, where they're obsessed with getting in a large amount of volume and they're not that good and they need to study more, or players who study and they don't set up for systems for both. This is something, how many people ask me, what should be my ratio? What's the specific ratio of studying to play? Tell me the number, Blake. And I swear to God, I can be like, listen, man, the magic ratio that I've done all this research on, it's 4.8 to 1. Which one? Is it 4.8 to 1 on studying, or is it 4? It's like, you have to figure out what works for you. It's a process. Everybody looks for these magical numbers in poker. The reality is, if you're playing poker, obviously you're going to need to do some studying. Obviously you're going to need to do some a certain amount of volume. It depends on where you're at. And I think that what players do is they'll just reach out and say, I'm going to study for 10 hours a week, or I'm going to play 50 hours a month in poker, and they don't actually have a reason on why those numbers are set. You know, the ratio depends. If you're a losing player, you're gonna need to study more than you're gonna need to play on volume. If you're a player that's been studying the game nonstop, you need to focus on playing a little bit more volume. We all have these, usually it's fear. There's something that's holding you back. So I know a lot of players that are just technically really good, but they never get out there and play because they're scared of failing. So they're like, oh, let me study so that no matter what happens, I won't fail in a game that's rested on a foundation of variance and in a game that where you're going to lose a considerable amount of the time. I mean, it's sort of silly, but that fear holds us back. So they might set these crazy studying parameters of like, oh, I'm going to put in, 2 hours a day plus my job, and I'm going to play 5 hours on the weekend. It doesn't make any sense. Like if you're mechanically good enough to beat 1-2 or 2-5, get out there and play. A lot of the things that you're going to learn from the game, they're not going to click from a book, from a video, from watching me right now, from watching a vlog, from breaking down hands, from running simulation. It's just not going to happen. You need to actually play. So I see that problem. I think I should make a longer video on that. I will. Number 5, this is the most important thing, period. Players don't have a strong reason why they want to accomplish the goal. That is the single most important goal setting structure or paradigm you can get into. Players don't know why. You need to know why you're playing poker. I see this with a lot of my clients who have a lot of money, and the monetary rewards from the game don't really do it. So like, I don't know, you take someone that's making $200,000 a year or something like that, and they're playing 2-5. And they can lose a 1K buy-in and it means nothing. If they win 2,500, great, it feels good, but it doesn't alter the trajectory of their life. We need to always know the reasons why we play this game. We play it because we love the competition. We play it because we use the money to fund our side endeavors. We want to pay for a house. You need a strong reason why. If you don't have a strong reason why, you're going to slowly deviate. And I've seen this with world-class players who have been playing for so long and they lost their reason on why they play and they need to be reconnected to that. I've seen this with my people in the pro group that I have to remind, listen, you're playing because we're trying to get you from 30K to 60K by the end of the year, so you can use that 30K for X, Y, Z, and ABC. We had a long discussion on why this was important to you. Do you need to be reminded of that? I tell this story where, this is a long time ago, I might have told this online. In the past, I don't really remember, but basically I had a client who was playing poker to pay off, to save up for a down payment for his family to get a house. And he was a firefighter. And literally he texts me in one of the games and he's like, listen, I just made this mistake, blah, 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 blah. So I went on his Facebook and I screen grabbed a picture of his family and I just sent him a picture of his family. And I said, listen, I thought you want to get them a house. That's why you're doing this. And he just was like, didn't answer. And he's like, I got it. I'm back in there. I'm focused. I'm engaged. I'm ready. So it's like this in anything in life. You need strong reasons why. Why will be the thing that propels you forward. Also, when shit gets annoying and it's bad beat and it's frustration and it's all these things, the why can reconnect you to the path. So it's absolutely incredibly important. So I hope this discussion has been helpful about goal setting. I could probably do a 2-hour presentation on how to set goals. Maybe I'll spin that up. If you're having any issues with the mental game or your approach to poker and goal setting, we handle all of that in the Mental Edge. Information is below. Thanks for watching. Subscribe. Do all those fancy. Subscribe, like, comment. I need to do that more. All these YouTubers are like, subscribe here. I just feel so corny telling people to do. I don't know what is some mental block. I gotta look at it. I just like, oh, subscribe right here. Like if you like this video. I don't like asking people to do that. Subscribe, follow, do all that stuff. I'll work on that in the future. That's about it.